the journey that we've been. So yeah, of course, you know that those sort of things happen naturally whenever clubs or players or staff members have success. But you know, everyone now is just so looking forward to the season ahead and the challenges that we have ahead, and we'll try and attack them in the way that we've attacked the last couple of years.
That kind of interest could, of course, play with anyone's head. How tempted were you, or what was the kind of step-by-step process that you took in your mind to make ultimately a decision?
No, look, I think, to be honest, those are private decisions, and I think in everyone's career you have to weigh things up for what's right for your family and things like that. That's a natural process, but you know, it's about looking forward. It's about building on what we've done here over the last few years at this wonderful football club that I'm so proud to manage. Football club, we took you can't say a chance, I guess, or giving me the opportunity at 35 years old, and I think we've had a fantastic couple of years together, and that's about looking forward into a historic and memorable season that we have ahead, and putting our best foot forward, and I know we're going to give a really good account of ourselves.
And Mark, no games played yet, but was this the first win of pre-season, if you like, before the Premier League starts?
It's probably the most important signing we're going to make, that's for sure. But no, look, I think Kieran's just answered that question perfectly well. Success brings a different type of challenge, but I think our relationship in all of this is key. The way we communicate, the way we work together, and as Kieran said, we're both so proud to have the opportunity to lead this football club into the Premier League, and we're excited, and it can't come quick enough now, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll finish on the fixtures, because I think not only that tough start, but you've got, I think, Arsenal and Chelsea in 4 days over the Christmas period as well. Just what kind of preparation now goes in with the group of players, and what's been your message to them ahead of pre-season starting?
Yeah, we'll have a good pre-season for sure. You know, we have to use any advantages that we get. The championship season finishes a little bit earlier, so we have a couple of weeks head start on the recovery. So we'll be back in before most of the Premier League teams. Of course, we'll have the majority of the group from last season together early. We'll try and get as much of our recruitment done early as we possibly can to have a really good pre-season. You know, we have to make the most of the 7 weeks that we will have training together, and know that other clubs have more players in international tournaments, more players throughout the world over the summer, and we'll try and utilise that as best we can. So yeah, it's of course going to be a really important pre-season. The fixture list gives you real clarity on what the challenge is in the first couple of games, and things that we're really going to have to emphasise in pre-season, and we just can't wait to get stuck into that work now. The players will be back soon. They're already working hard, and we'll prepare as well as anything possibly can.
Kieran, Mark, best of luck for it, and thank you for taking the time out to speak. You guys are heading to, of course, Ipswich Town business fixtures release, so I can tell you there's a good buzz down in that room. Everybody excited, and now they've seen the fixtures, what a start it is. Liverpool here at Portman Road, live on Sky on the opening weekend of the season.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. So Fixtures Day, a big morning, calls for a big name guest. Michael Dawson was busy, so Clinton Morrison is here instead. Welcome along, good morning.
Morning, here we go. It doesn't change the banner, does it?
High quality, we've got the trophy, we've got you, Clinton. Welcome back to the Premier League, Ipswich. Liverpool and Manchester City, away you go.
Yeah, listen, it's the Premier League, it's tough fixtures. Probably McKenna probably wouldn't want those fixtures. Well, go and enjoy it. You're in the Premier League now. It's brilliant that Ipswich are in there. He done a fantastic job. He's one of the best managers around for me at the moment. Kieran McKenna, and there's a lot of top clubs interested, but yeah, Liverpool at home, Man City away. Listen, there's no easy games, but they're the two hardest games. And then you look at the Fulham, the Brighton, Southampton. Villa's a tough game as well. As I said, no easy games in the Premier League. It's tough, but don't be looking forward to it, Ipswich, and they thoroughly deserve to be in the Premier League.
We'll start with Man United, Fulham Friday night football, and we've got Chelsea, Manchester City on the Sunday as well. Which of those opening fixtures are you looking forward to?
Oh, the Chelsea Man City. That's the standout game. When that came out, you look at it and you say, what a game that is. Obviously, Chelsea had a good end to the season. Maresca's now gone in there. They've got no Pochettino, so that's a huge game. And Man City are going to be the favourites again, because as long as Pep Guardiola is at that football club, you always make Man City favourites. So I think it'll be a fascinating Premier League. I think it'll be different. I think it'll be close like it was last year as well. I think Arsenal will have a shout, Liverpool. So there'll be a lot of the top teams that will be challenging. But yeah, I think it'll go down to the wire again. But I can't look past Man City again.
We touched there on Manchester City, who will be chasing an unprecedented 5th straight Premier League title. Let's go. go live to Manchester and join our reporter Peter Stevenson. Good morning.
Yeah, very good morning. There's a drizzle in the air, even though it's June in Manchester, but there's also a tingle of expectation, as you say. Fixtures Day, always a really, really significant part of the build-up to the new season. Just a little reminder behind us: champions 4 in a row, history makers. Question is, I suppose, have they still got the hunger, the appetite to go again? And that Chelsea opener, I'm sure, will have certainly whetted the appetite. Let's talk to Oliver Kirshews from the City Report podcast. Are you as excited as I am?
I think so. I don't know. I'm tired after the last few seasons, but as Pep says, we go again. So.
What about those opening games in particular? I'm looking at Chelsea, I'm looking at Arsenal and Newcastle in your opening 6 games. That looks a bit tough.
It's tough. It is tough because later in the season you've got different dynamics at play. What games have been rescheduled? What games? Which teams have got something to play for? Which don't? But as it lines up those first 6 games, that's how you've got to play them. And there's a few tough fixtures in there.
And a lovely reunion with Enzo because he had a spell in, didn't he? Showing the development squad.
Yeah, Pep's used to it now. I think he's probably got his own meeting room for all his likes now in management. Of course, our company, Arteta, Maresco now, there's a few of them. So yeah, I'm sure he's excited for that.
And in terms of the season, an awful lot of noise about Pep. 1 year left on his contract. What are your thoughts?
Look, somebody like Pep, he works at 110 miles an hour every single week, every single season. He's got to have the energy for it. You don't want a Pep that is running at less than 110%. So if he's motivated, if he's feeling up for it, then of course I think everyone, no exception, will want Pep to stay. But it's just whether or not it's right for him. And if he does go, then hopefully he can, along with the board, find the right person to come in.
And I guess in terms of looking back at those fixtures, as a club that's going to be busy in the Champions League, for example, in September, you need a decent start, don't you?
No. Historically, we haven't had that many great starts under Pep. We've had a few. We've had a lot of seasons. Last season being one where we don't really get into gear until after Christmas, and that's when we seem to hit top speed. So, do we need a good start? It would be nice. It'd be good for my nerves and everyone else's. This club has taken years off my life. It would be nice to have what looks to be a smooth season from the beginning, but we're kind of used to that not being the case.
And as part of the build-up, we'll expect a little bit of business, won't we? Some comings and goings?
Hard to say this year. We've not really had the noise around City's transfer window that we have in the past. I know there's been murmurings of a couple. Ederson saying it's Nunes potentially on the way out. There's still, question marks over Walker and De Bruyne getting to the latter stages of their career. Grealish, of course, hasn't been playing as much. Will any of them leave? Don't know. Who's coming in? Bruno, we've heard from Newcastle potentially. Paqueta, that's up in the air at the moment. But it's been quiet compared to usual.
And before I leave you, we've got to talk about Phil Foden. An awful lot of debate about he's had such a wonderful season domestically, but what did you make of the way he seemed to struggle playing for England the other night?
It's an odd one, Phil Foden, with England, isn't it? I mean, I think part of it is just simply the way he's deployed. We've seen him put in a player of the season campaign through the middle at City, being the main man, especially when De Bruyne hasn't been on the pitch. I felt he was kind of isolated out wide for England, but there are other great players in that squad, Bellingham being one of them. So they're kind of fighting for that space and that position through the middle of the pitch, really, and it's up to Gareth to get it right.
Well, you're going to get some sleep for the start of the new season. You're going to need it. Okay. We're all looking forward to it. It's going to be a terrific season, I'm sure. Just 90 days between the end of the old and the start of the new. And City, more than anyone else, I'm sure, they're ready for it.
Peter, thank you ever so much.
Now it's time for a little Premier League teaser. These are all related to the opening day. And the first question is about the players to have scored the most goals on the opening weekend in Premier League history. 4 players are tied on 8 goals. We've given you Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney. Can you name the other 2? Answers on the way after the break. There are 4 players who scored 8 goals in the opening weekend of the Premier League. We've given you Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney there. But can you name the other 2? Well, here's the answer. Frank Lampard and Mohamed Salah. They're all tied on 8 each.
Let's get back to some of the key fixtures then for the new season's Boxing Day. Looks like this. Another tough one for Kieran McKenna's Ipswich at Arsenal. It is Bournemouth against Crystal Palace. Brighton take on Brentford. Then a West London derby at Stamford Bridge. There's Chelsea host Fulham. Leicester at Anfield to take on Liverpool. The champions Manchester City play Everton. Long trip for Villa up to Newcastle on Boxing Day. It is Nottingham Forest. Nuno Espirito Santo faces his former club Tottenham. Southampton, West Ham, and Manchester United are at Wolves. How key could the final day fixtures be then on May the 25th, 2025? Bournemouth against Leicester, Fulham against Manchester City, who needed the points going into the final day last season to clinch that title. Ipswich against West Ham, Liverpool take on Palace, who beat them at Anfield last season. Manchester United against Newcastle, Forest, Chelsea, Southampton take on Arsenal, Spurs against Brighton, and then Wolves at home at Molineux on the final day against
Can't do
Brentford.
the post on this phone. There's no
Oh, let's look at
pictures of
Aston
you
Villa's
with your
start to the
children.
season. They begin with a trip to West Ham. That's how
What's
they
this
open
walk to work?
and then they have
Well,
a
that's story of my
home
life.
match against Arsenal, who they
Oh,
beat twice
got a
last
call
season.
coming in.
They're then away
On
to
the way
Leicester.
back.
Home games against
Don't
Everton
delay,
and
right
Wolves
back.
come after that, and a trip to Ipswich, 12 of February 6. And Spurs, they start away to newly promoted Leicester before a home game against Everton. That's followed by a visit to Newcastle, and then it's the North London derby. That's an early stand-out match at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They've got another home game against Brentford, and then an away match. They go to Old Trafford to play Manchester United. Newcastle, what about them? Well, they start at home to Southampton, then they're away to Bournemouth. They are home again against Tottenham and away to Wolves and Fulham. Their sixth game is at home, and it's a big one. It's against the champions, Manchester City. Newly promoted Leicester in focus now. The championship champions start their return to the Premier League at home against Tottenham. Then they're away. Their first away game of the season is at Fulham, and they return home to play Aston Villa. Away again, a trip to London for Crystal Palace, Everton at home, and then a trip to Arsenal at the end of September. Southampton's return to the Premier League starts away to Newcastle, Nottingham Forest at home, and Brentford away. That rounds off their August. Then it's Manchester United and Ipswich at home, and to end off September, they travel to Bournemouth.
What did you say?
What about Liverpool? Will they head into the new season with a new man in the dugout? Arne Slot knows his first game in charge at the club
There's
now.
no pictures
It'll be
on
away
here
to
of you with
Ipswich,
your
and Vinny
children.
O'Connor is at Anfield for us.
Isn't there? I don't know if there's one here to be fair.
That's it, we know
A lot of them
exactly.
didn't transfer over. But if you go onto Facebook,
I went on Facebook. Do you think I am stupid?
go into the photos,
I did.
and there should be loads on there, and you just download it.
I was looking to find one of me and you.
Neil Atkinson from the Anfield Wrap. And Neil, I just wonder what you made of that start that's in store for Arsenal. I mean, Ipswich away feels like quite something. They're going to talk about home goal kick-off. Well, yeah, they had a great time at the end of last season, you know, looking into that Bournemouth road. So to go and get to be part of that's no bad thing at all. It'll be difficult because they'll be really well drilled, and it's the biggest game of some of those players' lives. Let's bear that in mind. But you've got to play everyone and go from there. I think the start's actually been quite kind. There's none of what I'd sort of say the big eight apart from United in the first 7 fixtures. And I'm happy with the Manchester team away in the early run. It's something I've sort of wanted because we often don't win there. So it's taken a bit of time to bend down. Well, you know, we drew at Old Trafford last season, we drew at the Etihad last season. You know, we don't have that many wins at Old Trafford in general. So these things happen from time to time, but nonetheless, it's still exciting, isn't it? You know, it's great to have the ball listed. It's great to be able to plot your moves.
That's almost straight away.
To Brighton in the summer. Well, you're already thinking that you can get 9 points from those first 3 games, then you go into the international
With
break.
you.
Oh, with me.
Slightly pointless. Oh, I could do that. What's the point?
I thought the rest of them were really good. Yeah.
I quite like the games after the Champions League matched up, but no one
Strange that we don't have two
how that'll
together.
be. Yeah, we haven't really won. Everyone's
No,
got to
because
play
our pictures
two
we have are
very
all
good
together.
teams, 2 good teams.
Well, I've got an old one, but that's a really
and
old
then
one.
maybe 2 who are a little bit weaker. And those 8 games, who you've got
That one.
before, after them, it's telling.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
quite
know.
happy with
There
how
is
that's
really
going
old ones.
as well. I think that's
Which I
really
don't
behind
think.
us in there.
But not, I'm not going back that old.
Straightforward start. It means we've got a pretty horrendous December. And
They don't even bloody look like that anymore.
Goes. You can't, you can't repeatedly play the weaker sides in the league, but the league's strong, and you've got to rate everybody you come up against because there's no passengers anymore.
Let's have a look at that December. I mean, before that as well, there's a little bit in October where you've got Chelsea here at Anfield, and then it's Arsenal away. But moving up towards December, City here on the 30th of November, although it'll have to end up being in December, obviously. Then it's Newcastle away, followed by the Merseyside derby at Goodison, Fulham home, and then it's Spurs away on the 23rd.
Yeah, that's very, very tough because there'll be a couple of Champions League games in there as well. Listen, you don't want Newcastle after playing Champions League football. We're going to have a week or two games this season. Of those top 8 sides, they're the ones that have got European football. They're going to be so dangerous, so well drilled. They're already physically imposing. That's one of the things that Eddie Howe's got going on there. So the idea that there's a week that they get that you don't get, so that's a relief. Listen, Goodison, we've got to put right on what's went wrong to put Sam Beckerton constantly off the back end of last season, and that obviously is a massive game, but then you go to Goodison Park and the atmosphere will be absolutely unbelievable. They'll be up for it like nothing on air. So yeah, that's a really, really tough week, and we know the other thing that you can point out, as you've said, all 3 of those games will be televised. All 3 of those games will be massive events, and that's something else that Slot's going to have to get used to. His players already know, but the reality of this is, if you're Liverpool manager, you're the centre of the story, you're the centre of attention. That week is what already it's got a big red circle around it for everyone, I'm sure.
Not only that, because you start the new year against United here as well.
Yeah, I'm into that one. That one's great. I think it's interesting the way they've moved the FA Cup. I think there's a bit of noise amongst all the stuff around the replays. What was missed was all the FA Cup games now get their own weekends until you get to the semi-final. What that means, though, is that they'll push the third round of the FA Cup back to January the 11th, which means we get a little bit of a longer lead time into that. What it does lead to, I think, is there will be a little bit of an advantage for some sides to kick off the Cup relatively early because there'll be a bit more time to rest matches. It's going to be,
Jimmy Dean.
let's be honest, all the way up and down the pyramid. I think this time ends up being a focus on European teams in the Premier League. You've got Championship sides, you've got League One, League Two sides playing EFL Trophy games as well. 46 games is so many. I think there is a bit of a thing here where more and more there's going to be chat about the burden on the footballers because not only are they asked to play this many games, but there's this much intensity and there's this much riding on all of them. And as I say, I mean that for League Two sides as well as the teams like Liverpool and Manchester City. I think you do need to think about looking after players a little bit more.
Just finally then, and on that kind of thing, how intense could that run
Don't
be
know
for
the
Liverpool
reasons,
when you've got
really
Chelsea
awful.
away, Arsenal home, Brighton away, Palace at home, those final 4 games?
They're the
I'm
final
gonna
4
have to
league games,
pass.
but it's
I'm
not
gonna
going
have
to
to
Europe
make my
at
dad
that point that we
anyway.
all want them to be. Dropping Champions
What
League
is that?
semi-finals in there as well, first and second legs. In the Dutch league, you play 34 games, you haven't got a League Cup. And that is, it's one of the concerns for the new manager coming in is that there's a lot to get used to here. It took Klopp time in his first season, it took Guardiola time in his first season. Let's be clear about that. This isn't me making excuses, by the way. Liverpool should be challenged on all fronts. That's the job. And that's what he's got to have a squad of mass to do that for and work with the powers that be at Liverpool. But yeah, what you've just named there, that is one challenging running, and that game third to last as this plays against Arsenal. If there's anything riding on it, it could be absolutely unbelievable.
Thanks very much for joining us, Neil. Maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves when we're talking about running or exactly where the teams could be, but certainly excitement already ahead of the new Premier League season. Thank you, Vinny. This is what they're all playing for next season then. We'll bring you much more next. We discuss Manchester United and we are returning to Ipswich as well.
Oh, Mary?
Hello, Derek.
Special Buys Thursday.
What makes you say that?
Aldi Special Buys. New amazing items every Thursday and Sunday. Who knows what's in store?
Where is it? 10 seconds before the whistle, and you think this is a good time to put it at sea bass? Really, Terry? Come on.
Everyone snacks!
Just get them delivered, you donut. What are you doing? You need to leave good and nothing. Who could cook at a time like this? With hundreds of deals on Uber Eats.
diner in there, so you don't have to have fish and chips if you don't want. Red wine. Where are you actually staying? Are you gonna go back? Yeah. Oh, no, that's the Butlins Road. Yeah. Oh, there's loads here. There's loads of caravan places. Okie dokie. Well, I did say, didn't I, that I was gonna. I did need to ring both parents. That's why I didn't ring yesterday. So. All right. Well, have a lovely day. All right. Bye, Dad. Bye. Staying on Roman Bank.
Oh, the road that goes up to Butlins.
I says what? The Butlins Road. He says exactly. Butlins. I'm sorry, but Roman Bank is known. It's just the Butlins Road.
Is that what it's called? Or just one up
No.
there?
He
There's loads
reckons,
up there.
he reckons it's a good 2 miles from the clock tower.
Well, yeah, Butlins side then. That up that end. If you're that far from the clock tower. What they're doing for his meal.
They went, yesterday they went to, they went to Clock Tower, they had a walk around, they had a game of crazy golf. Said that was a laugh. Then they went and got some fish and chips that weren't too clever. You've got to be very careful where you get your fish and chips from. That's as all fairness, Dad. We always go to the diner in the pleasure beach. I said, one, it's a diner, you don't have to have fish and chips, and two, they've always been alright there.
It isn't your time of the year.
I know.
Welcome back.
Well,
A
they're doing
reminder
pretty
of
new
the
today, though.
opening day
Or aren't they?
fixtures in a
Oh,
brand
they've
new
also
Premier League
been to
season. First up,
Westgate.
Friday Night Football
So
comes
that was a
to
very
Old
nice meal.
Trafford.
It's going to be in it.
Manchester United against Fulham. The newly promoted Ipswich kick off at Portman Road against Liverpool. Manchester City at Chelsea.
We'll have to
It's the
scab it,
first
don't we?
Super Sunday, the first Saturday night football.
What are you doing?
Aston Villa in the Champions League next season are at West Ham. Promoted sides Southampton visit Newcastle and
pictures
Leicester
have got me in.
on the first Monday night football of the
There
season.
isn't many
Go
with
to Tottenham.
Without me, I know.
just a kid.
And you can get to the
Me.
app by scanning the QR code that's on your screen. You'll get to the fixtures section, and every single match of the new campaign is live on the website as well.
Caveat put on the roundabout.
An exciting new era at Brighton. 31-year-old and the
Nick
youngest
Heaton.
ever Premier
Isn't
League
Nick
manager,
Heaton?
Fabian Hutzler, faces Everton at Goodison on the
In the play
opening
farm.
day. That's followed by games
You know where the
against
circus?
Manchester United, Arsenal, and Ipswich, then Nottingham Forest and
That's
Chelsea.
it.
Julian Lopetegui replaced David Moyes at West Ham last month. A tricky start at home against Aston Villa, switched to Crystal Palace. They'll follow that before a home game against Manchester City. Then it's pre-matches of 3 London derbies against Fulham, Chelsea and Brentford. Crystal Palace had a fantastic second half to the season under Oliver Glasner, and they begin the new season against Brentford away from home. Their first home game is West Ham before matches against Chelsea, Leicester, Manchester United and Everton. Speaking of Everton, they start against
We're doing one
Brighton.
at bowling
Before
then.
games against
That's
Tottenham,
nice.
Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leicester and Crystal Palace.
Well, let's turn our attention to Manchester United then, and Eric Ten Hag will take charge of the side heading into a new season. Let's have a look how it starts for United with Fulham at home first.
This is really old.
How do you view their start to the season, Clinton?
To be fair, it's not too bad. Fulham at home is like, listen, Fulham are a good team. Marco Silva's done a brilliant job there, but it's going to be, he's still under pressure, even though he stayed in the job. After a month, if the results aren't going well, they will sack him the hierarchy. So at the end of the day, I think the job that he's done at the FA Cup has probably given him a bit of time, that terrific result against Man City. But you look at that game, the Liverpool at home game, that's the standout game. But the rest of the fixtures, apart from Palace away, is a tough game.
Oh,
Going to Selhurst Park is always tough.
Well, I mean, we remember what happened last season.
That's what I'm trying to say. But no, listen, as I said earlier on, there's no easy games in the Premier League. But looking at that start, that's not bad for Man United.
Surprised to see him in the dugout again?
Yeah, I was surprised because all the rumours that you hear is that his job was under threat. But you know what? He got another trophy, and that's what you're brought in as a manager to do, is get a trophy. But in the Premier League, they were nowhere near good enough. They need to improve massively the squad, and he needs to sort out the Sancho situation. You can't have a player like that go to Dortmund and turn it on. There is ability in there, so something needs to be sorted out there. But I was surprised, but we wish him well and good luck to him.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you mentioned the FA Cup, and that's right. And he will say, look, 2 trophies in 2 seasons, that's what I've delivered. But there were so many poor performances in the league that you shouldn't really be basing a decision on one cup final, should you?
No, yeah, and you're 100% spot on. To be fair, I look at it and I think, how have you put that performance in the FA Cup final, but you didn't put that performance during the league season for most of the season? And probably that's the biggest disappointment. But as I said, that FA Cup bide him some time, and now they've got to kick on next season. I do think the recruitment has to be. They have to get players out and then try and get players in. That will take a bit of time because you don't know how much money they've got at the football club to spend at this moment. But it's another big job for him. But as I said, he got the result against Man City, so good luck to him for the rest of the season. But it's going to be a hard season again.
It might well be hard as well. Whilst we've got you here, we'll talk Liverpool too. Arne Slot going in, I mean, follow that because he's following one of the great managers of the Premier League era.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the best I've seen in the Premier League. I think Jurgen Klopp's outstanding, not just for what he does for Liverpool on the pitch. I think off the pitch he's brilliant as well. He's bubbly, but it's going to be difficult for Arne Slot. But I think he's a good. By all accounts, I haven't seen a lot of him, but his teams they played a similar style of play, so it's going to take a bit of time though. And with Liverpool as well, they have got top players. With them, they need no injuries and they need everyone to buy into Arne Slot. But I think Liverpool will be fine next season.
The two at the moment, that was
That is a group of fans that are pretty patient and do appreciate just how difficult it is to follow someone like Jurgen Klopp. Do you sense there will be a big change in the way that they play?
No, I don't think there'll be a big change. I think because that's why they brought in Slot. I think he might be similar to how Jurgen Klopp. If there is a big change, we'll see the first game of the season. But the way Liverpool play, they've got the players that can buy into that structure. But that's why I'm happy that they got the manager in early, Arne Slot, when they knew and got their business done early. So you can build up in pre-season and get a style of how he wants to play. But I don't think they'll be miles different from how Jurgen Klopp wants to play.
All right, Clinton, thank you very much for the moment.
Oh yeah, we'll have to, aren't we?
I download the picture then.
Now for our second teaser, it's all about hat tricks. 10 players have grabbed a hat trick on the
Should be
opening
saved to the
day
phone.
of the Premier League season. How many can you name? Stay with us. Answers up next.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? They're not having if they're not doing this until
Success comes with sweat, on and off the pitch. Thermic Resist deodorant, 48 hours of ultimate performance and fine fragrance, up to 45 degrees. Thermic Resist deodorant by L'Oreal Men Expert. We're worth it.
God, what else is text?
We must be smart. Beyond 451, you go front. Unbelievable.
Spissade. Du Arnik Cell down to Sultanate. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers.
What are you doing up there? What are you doing up there? You're coming to the ceiling. What are you doing? Whose bedroom are you in? Whose bedroom are you in? Yeah, you're coming to the ceiling. Be careful. Did you know we've got fun today then you did?
no.
So what do they do at night then if they're that way out? Where's Kiki?
Upstairs.
Where is he?
In his bedroom.
On his bed?
Yeah.
You can have it back again.
Hi. Hank.
Morning. Do you have to do what? Do you feel splitting? Do you feel splitting?
Welcome back. Before the break, we asked you how many of the 10 players you could name who will captain the opening day of the Premier League. How many did you get? Well, here's the answer. The 10 players are Nick Quinn, Matt Letizia, Fabrizio Ravanelli, Leon Dublin, Gabriel Agbonlahor, Didier Drogba, Raheem Sterling, Mohamed Salah, Bruno Fernandes, and the late Kevin Campbell.
Mad.
Victor Morrison, obviously, absentee there. Ever get any on the first day, or?
Yeah, I got a few, but never a hat-trick.
Right, let's focus on the rivalry, shall we? Just a couple of points separated Manchester City and Arsenal at the top of the league last season. This is when they face each other next time around. Don't have to wait long for the first instalment, weekend of September the 21st, and then Manchester City go to the Etihad right at the start of February. City will meet their other old foes from the last few seasons, Liverpool at Anfield. They've not got a great record there. November the 30th, and Arne Slot's first trip to the Etihad will be on February the 22nd. First Manchester derby of the new season isn't until mid-December. Then these two meet at the Etihad 11 days before Christmas, and again in April for the reverse game at Old Trafford. Everton got a long-awaited win over Liverpool at Goodison late last season. Can they do it again when the two teams meet in December? The return fixture at Anfield is a midweek game on April the 2nd. What about North London? It was such a crucial fixture towards the end of last season, wasn't it? Tottenham against Arsenal. Nice and early this time around, September the 14th for that one. The return fixture at the Emirates is on January the 14th. That's the first midweek round of 2025. As we've mentioned a couple of times already, an early meeting between Manchester United and Liverpool. Two teams face off on the final day of August. The return fixture, the opening game of the new year, January the 4th. For that one at Anfield. These then the first live games of the brand new season. We're at Old Trafford for the first match, Friday night football, Manchester United against Fulham. The Saturday night football, Unai Emery's Villa at West Ham under Julen Lopetegui for the first time. They face Palace to Brentford on Super Sunday. That is the start of the champions Manchester City at Chelsea for Enzo Maresca's first game. Club Leicester in the first Monday night football against Tottenham.
He's now an international manager.
Okay, Clinton, let's focus on one of your former clubs now.
We should have done that for the last hour.
Steady.
Alright, I'm
Steady.
joking.
What do you make of their first 6 fixtures?
Yeah, listen, the fixtures they're all kind of tough, but going to Brentford, I think that's a game where you look and you think if Palace are at it, they could get an opportunity. West Ham at home, good opportunity. Chelsea away is going to be a difficult game. Leicester at home, opportunity. Man United at home is an opportunity because I think at Sellers Park they're good and Everton away. That fixture list for Palace,
My God.
Glasner will be happy. But as I said, it is the Premier League and it's not a foregone conclusion.
Are we getting rid of Fat Lambton if it's not getting used?
Going into 24-25, how important for them to start that way?
Yeah, they have to start well.
Say
But they've got
bye-bye
good manager. I think
now.
Glasner's outstanding. I speak to a lot of the people there, and the intensity
It's not being
training
used,
has
is
gone
it?
up. They work ever so
Let's
hard.
be
He's
fair.
non-stop. He's relentless, but that's what you want
Let's be
to
fair,
be successful. And I
Rabbit.
think
Why
we
don't
know
you
Palace,
use
if they can keep their star
Fulham?
players,
I know
they've got a
we
great chance. I'll even put it out there. If they kept all their star
maybe
players
get a new
added to that squad,
battery.
they would have a good chance of finishing in Europe. And
Maybe
people
it
might
will
look at me
work
with
again.
amazement, but their form they showed end of last season.
We always look at you with amazement, Clinton, that is for sure. Let me ask you a question on the back of that.
Yeah.
Eze, Elise, Gehi, how many of those are still there on the first day of the season?
Well, I hope all of them. It could be a struggle to keep actually all three of them. They're all three top players. There'll be a lot of the top clubs and the top 4 clubs looking at them. So it's going to be difficult. I do believe at least 2 of them probably will stay, but one will go. And fingers crossed, if all 3 go, then it's going to be difficult. But the recruitment at Crystal Palace is outstanding. And you can even throw young Wharton into the mix, because I thought he's been outstanding. A lot of big clubs are watching him at the moment. So, as I say, the way they recruit at that football club with Dougie Freeman and the chairman Steve Parish is outstanding.
Okay, so after coming so close last season, can Arsenal go one step further and win the title?
Well, they start their campaign at home to Wolves at the Emirates, which is where James Green is this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you guys as well. Yes, the fixtures are out, the exciting time of year for all football fans. And for Arsenal fans, well, it's not long to recover after the disappointment of missing out on the Premier League title to Manchester City. It's up and at them again, planning the fixtures and planning what hopefully for Arsenal fans could be that elusive Premier League trophy for the first time since 2004. And to discuss this and so much more, please be joined by Cecil from AFTV. Cecil, fixtures are out, Wolves at home. How are you feeling about that?
Wolves at home to start, I think that's favourable for many Arsenal fans, we're really happy with that. A home game as well to start the Premier League is always, beneficial to the club and the fans as well. So Wolves at home, I'm happy with. I'm a lot more happy than seeing a newly promoted side and being away to them. That was my biggest fear. Or a City or a Spurs where it would be a worrying start. But Wolves at home, yeah, favourable, happy.
And looking through the fixtures, it's a pretty tricky start, and it doesn't get trickier than the trip to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. First match day of the Champions League, and then a trip to the Etihad to face Manchester City.
See, that's where the fear is starting to grow in me. That September run, it is, yeah, like you mentioned there, Spurs away, always a difficult game. I know in the past 2 times we've beaten them there, which I've enjoyed. But yeah, no, that is worrying. Then obviously City the week after, massive game where you can't drop points. We learned that last season. Any points dropped is detrimental really to lifting that Premier League trophy. And in between that as well, with the new Champions League format, we have a Champions League fixture. Don't know what that is yet, but probably going to be, because it's the opening the week for Champions League, going to be a big team as well. So we're looking at it, Spurs, big Champions League game, then City, a worry. But if you get through that, then things are going to be looking, hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, looking bright for Arsenal.
And what other fixtures were you looking at when they first got released?
I'll be honest, the first thing you go to is obviously the North London Derby, but we've already spoken about that. Then I look at Man United and Liverpool. I look at Anfield away is Liverpool away is always difficult, always a tricky game for Arsenal. So I looked at that, but my new feeling and the new mindset is really what my eyes keep getting drawn to is the City game. So when we've got City at home and City away, because those are competition. That is our competition now. It is Man City. So it's a new sort of feeling for me, but I look at the Man City games, but those are the ones. That's it. Spurs, it's Liverpool, Man United, and now Manchester City.
And look, as we've certainly all learned from the last couple of seasons, how crucial it is to finish the season strong. When you look at the back end of the season, it's a little bit different between Arsenal and Manchester City. Arsenal's got to take on Liverpool, Newcastle, and then away to Southampton. Manchester City seems a little bit more straightforward, would you say?
Yeah, City seems to have a easier running, but hopefully we'll have the job done by that time. I'm shameless, but no, of course, it's difficult a lot more difficult for Arsenal in the running to the end of the season compared to Man City. I mean, people might even say Southampton away on the last game. People might see that as favourable, but our results at Southampton away of late haven't been great. So it gives me a bit of worry, and obviously Liverpool's in there, Liverpool away, so that's a big game. I know they're going to go for a new rebuild. They've got Arne Slot in charge, so they might not be the same Liverpools that we've seen of past, but still, it's Anfield away, so it's a worry. It is a worry.
It's a worry, but could it well be a Premier League title heading to the Emirates Stadium at the end of it?
I have to believe. I'll be honest. After the last 2 seasons, but definitely last season, and the feeling I had, I really thought it was going to be our year. It was difficult. We didn't get it in the end. Obviously, City come up and won the Premier League. But I think this year, there's a lot of pressure. It's harsh to say, but I think there's a lot of pressure on Arsenal this season because fans really want it. I think the team know as well. This is the last game of the season as well. And you could see the players knew that they were disappointed that they didn't win the Premier League that season. So they know how much it's going to mean to them this season. It's important that we get it done in this Premier League season.
Important for Arsenal fans to get it done, but they'll kick-start the new Premier League season at home to Wolves.
James, thank you very much.
Clinton, let's talk about the dreaded drop. Who do you see struggling more in that bottom 3?
Yeah, it's difficult. You always look at the teams that have just been promoted because the championship is getting bigger and bigger. But those teams will be competitive. Definitely, they will get compete. As I said earlier with Ipswich, I think they've got an outstanding manager. But their recruitment is going to be massive for all the clubs that are in and around that have just got
That's
promoted.
very
They're also
different.
difficult. You always make the three that come up the favourites to go down, but it's gonna be a hard season. So and there'll be a lot of Christmas fans. So don't ask me to predict who's gonna go down just as yet. I'm still on my holiday mode.
Been on that for about 3 seasons. Just a quick one though. We said that the three might struggle to come up, as was the case last season.
Yeah.
Of those that are still in the Premier League, who else do you think might be struggling at the bottom?
That's a really good question. It's a hard one. I look at Forest and I think Forest have got the players, they have got the exciting players, but they need to start really well. I think Forest are a team. Even Brentford, if they lose Ivan Toney, you worry about Brentford. So they're probably a couple of teams that I'm thinking, and maybe Everton as well.
This is old.
You might worry about them, but we know.
Wolverine just clicks on.
And everyone tune in, it's going to be really good.
There's no need to worry.
Right, thank you very much. You've eased yourself out of holiday mode just before 10 o'clock. Thank you very much. Quick reminder then of the live games on that opening weekend. Manchester United against Fulham first on the Friday night. Fulham Lopetegui's first game in charge of
Lopetegui
against Villa on Saturday night. Super Sunday. Brentford, Palace first.
Yes, but ciao.
Leicester first game back. Monday Night Football at home to Spurs.
So there's no hope for you.
And you can find all your club's fixtures for the new Premier League season over on Sky Sports website
Oh.
and the app. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now to go
It's the
straight to the app.
2024-2025 season.
The EFL fixtures are released as well. June the 26th at 9 o'clock in the morning for the Championship, League 1 and League 2. After that, SPFL, 9 o'clock on the 27th of June. But this morning, it has been all about the Premier League. Can Manchester City do it again? We'll hear from the new Ipswich manager, Kieran McKenna. They face City on the second week of the season.
What season? Ba-bum, ba-bum.
Finest cave-aged goat's cheese. Just £3.10 with your Tesco Club card.
La 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 ga la ga ga la ga la ga.
Hello, Mary.
Hey, Derek.
Special Buys Thursday.
What makes you say that?
Aldi Special Buys. New tasting items every Thursday.